Now I got my hands on some wild herbs, I'm inspired to make an Italian-Albanian fusion dish. Okay, I'm in the back garden of Luigina's restaurant here, and it looks absolutely beautiful. I'm adapting one of my mama's favorites, using Luigina's abresh pasta. Now, pasta with ceci, pasta with chickpea, is a pasta that from the north of Italy all the way down in the south, everybody cooks it. Every Italians will know how to make pasta with chickpea. The only thing that every region will have a different way to do it. Neapolitan people will do pasta with chickpeas with pasta mista, different shapes of pasta left over, you know. Instead of throw them away, my mom used to do a big bowl, mix all the dry pasta together. So, get yourself a nice large pot. In there, we're going to add the soffritto. Finely chopped onions, finely chopped carrots, and finely chopped celery. A little bit of bay leaf, that is optional. We're gonna start straight away with a good extra virgin olive oil. In there, I'm also going to add the Cusco pepper. This is a pepper that only grows in this area. This has got a beautiful sweet flavor, a little bit smoky, and they dry it, and it's fantastic to create recipes. I'm just gonna chop it up like this. So Cusco pepper goes straight into the oil, so it starts to release the flavor. And then, as soon as you hear the sizzling, straight in goes the soffritto. Like that. The soffritto, it gives the flavors that you need. So whenever you make a sauce, always start with a good soffritto. Now, you can use two different kinds of chickpea. You can use the dry one. You have to soak them in water for a good 24 hours, and this is what you get. You just drain it, and they're ready to be cooked. Or, if you don't have the time, you can buy the tinned chickpeas. So then you take away the step of soaking the chickpeas. Okay, happy with the soffritto? Now, the chickpeas go straight into the pan, and we just want to mix them into the soffritto. In there, now, just add the water and start to make the broth. And as soon as they cover, put a lid on, and slowly, slowly, piano piano, let the chickpeas get the flavor of the soffritto. Meanwhile, let me show you how I'm gonna make an amazing wild herb pesto. You can make pesto pretty much with everything that you have. And I have this amazing oregano that I picked with Yole. Take the leaves out. Now, a lot of people, they like to make the pesto into an electric blitzer, which is okay. I'm not a huge fan because the blade of the blitzer, it goes so fast that sometimes you burn or you bruise the leaves, and then the pesto becomes quite dark. So I like it to do it with a knife, nice and rustic. Then in there, what are we gonna put? We're gonna put a little bit of prezzemolo, parsley. Now, the one herb is gonna make this wild pesto really good is the wild thyme. Now, once you got your herbs done, then I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic, peel it, crush it. Okay. So, I'm happy with the garlic. Take it there. Now, let's get the herbs, and the only thing that you have to do, just chop away. Chop away and make sure you don't over chop it. No, leave it rustic. Now, I'm gonna just put a little bit of lemon zest. Then, I have a little bit of Parmesan cheese, which I'm gonna grate straight on top of the herbs. In there straight away, obviously, we have to put extra virgin olive oil. This is how you make the pesto. And as you put the oil, you keep stirring. Come, I'll show you. This is the kind of consistency you look for. This is absolutely perfect. The only thing, we're gonna add a little bit of pepe nero, black pepper, and of course, we're gonna season it with salt. Okay, now, let's check the chickpeas here. Now, you're gonna think, well, this looks a bit too much like a soup. And you're absolutely right. The reason why is because I'm now going to cook the pasta straight into the chickpea sauce. Instead of boiling the pasta separately and then put it together, I wanted the pasta to immediately absorb the flavor of the soffritto and the chickpea and the Etrusco pepper. I'm sure you're not gonna be lucky like me to have Luigina's pasta around your house. Whatever you got is going to work, trust me. This is the secret of this plate of pasta. You have to make sure that the pasta cooks in the broth of the chickpeas. For minimum effort, maximum flavors. Now see what's happening here? The pasta slowly absorbed all the stock from the chickpea and it gets thicker and sticky. That's exactly the way a pasta with ceci should be. I am happy with this. Just before you serve it, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add a little bit of the wild pesto. Mix everything together. Oh. See, now you get all the colors going through. This is just yum, 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 yum. Okay. Bellissimo. Final touches just before you serve it. I really hope Luigina is gonna like this. You put the pesto on top at the end. I mean, look how beautiful it is. Luigina, sei pronta? Becca di questo. Wow. What is that? Che mi hai fatto, mo? Che hai preparato?
I peperoni cruschi li ho fritti nell'olio d'oliva.
Buoni.
Bene. Quindi questo è il nostro piatto tradizionale.
I wasn't expecting this. What Luigina's done, she cleaned the pepperoni Etrusco and then she deep fried in olive oil so they're nice and crispy. So they're like crisps. Ma come patatine. Mamma! Buonissimo.
Assaggiate.
We can put them on the side so then you can pick up the chickpea. I like this. Buono, eh? Che ne pensi?
Il sugo è alla perfezione.
Vabbè. I got the Luigina approval on my pasta with chickpeas.
Perfetta, buonissima. Ah, i nostri lavori
Vedi come vengono fatti bene?
vengono fatti bene.
And this is how you make pasta e ceci. Luigina's pasta with chickpeas. Today, I'm going to show you one of the most bizarre way of cooking pasta. I'm going to show you how to make spaghetti all'assassina, which is a typical dish from Bari. Now, the reason why I say bizarre, because this is going to be cooked like a risotto. So we are not going to boil the pasta, we are going to cook the pasta straight into the sauce that I'm making. I mean, I've cooked bizarre things in my life, but this is gonna have to be the first for me as well. You need a pan big enough that you can lay the spaghetti in it. It needs to be like a proper metal pan or a cast iron pan. The reason is because these spaghetti, they're gonna start to get all crunchy and burnt. I know, all part of the recipe. First thing, what we got here, we got some water, just boiling water, and in there, we are going to pour tomato paste. Just goes into the water because we're gonna create a beautiful, bright red stock. Just whisk everything together, okay? So one job is done. Now, in the pan, what are we gonna do? Garlic and chili. There, you don't need any extra fancy ingredient. Now, when you slice garlic, if you don't want to have a bad breath, just get rid of the middle. Seagulls that they want to eat my spaghetti, I can hear them. This recipe was created in the 60s. There was a chef here in Bari. 2 customers from north of Italy came to his restaurant and they wanted a plate of pasta, but they didn't want just a normal plate of pasta. They told the chef, look, do something to impress us. So the chef went into the kitchen and just shoveled everything in a pan. And this is how spaghetti all'assassina was born. And assassina, in English, you translate assassin, killer. You know, you have a killer spaghetti. That's what it actually means. Okay, so put the garlic in there. Then you put your oil, a touch of chili. You can use fresh chili or you can use dry chili, whatever you fancy. Okay, as soon as the garlic starts to sizzle, in there with the tomato sauce. Not too much. You just want to make the base of the tomato sauce. As soon as the tomatoes start to sizzle, now is going to be the time to put the spaghetti in there. Very gently. You need to make sure that you coat the spaghetti with tomato. Now, look what's happened. Get close, get close. I want you to see what's happening. Look, everything is getting all sticky. Now, slowly, we're gonna add the stock. So we're gonna pour red on red. That's how we're gonna do it. So you put a little bit of stock, then you let all the bubble do the job. The secret for this recipe is to make sure that you take your time and you move the spaghetti around the tomato sauce. A little bit more stock. Oh, now, have a look at this. This is when it becomes now all exciting. Look at the bottom of this pan when it's getting all burnt and crispy. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, okay, Gino, who's going to wash the pan? Well, in this case, it's not going to be my problem. And I'm not going to come to your house to wash your pan. But if you want to do this recipe, this is what you have to achieve. You just have to scrape down and make sure that it gets all crispy. And this is how it's done. A little bit more stock, and I think we are nearly there. Obviously, like every pasta, make sure that it's al dente, because if it's not al dente, the pasta, you may as well pick it up and throw it in the bin. Okay. I am happy with the pasta. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna switch everything off. Just let it rest for about 30 seconds, no more than that. Meanwhile, I've prepared a nice fresh salad, because I think when you eat dishes like this is gonna be quite strong in flavor, the tomato sauce. Then you got the chili, then you got the garlic. Serve it with something fresh. So I'm using what the local call cucumarazzi. It's got the hint of a melon. This is the way I like it to dress. Extra virgin olive oil. This is a very typical Italian dressing. So there you go. Red wine vinegar, like this, a little bit of salt, and the job is done. It should be all nice and sticky. All right, now look at that. See, this is pretty much like a spaghetti pomodoro, just cooked in a very bizarre way. Spaghetti all'assassina, and this is how it's done.